The fear is simply because you're not living with life, you're living in your mind. Your fear is always about what's going to happen next. That means your fear is always about that which does not exist. If your fear is about the non-existent, your fear is 100% imaginary. If you're suffering the non-existential, we call that insanity. So, people may be in just socially accepted levels of insanity, but if you're afraid or if you're suffering anything which does not exist, it amounts to insanity, isn't it? People are always suffering, either what happened yesterday or what may happen tomorrow. So your suffering is always about that which does not exist, simply because you're not rooted in reality. You're always rooted in your mind. Mind is… one part of it is memory, another part of it is imagination. Both of them are in one way imagination, because both of them don't exist right now. You're lost in your imagination, that's the basis of your fear. If you were rooted in reality, there would be no fear.
Step. Take the step. Step aggressively towards your fear. And that step towards your fear is the step into bravery. Because we're scared of what we don't know. And there is only one way to learn and to know, and that is to confront that fear. You have to step, you have to go. And this simple action, this simple attitude, it answers so many questions. So many questions. How do you get to the gym every day? You step. You go. How do you change your diet? You step. You go. How do you overcome fear of failure, or fear of success, or fear of fear itself? You step. And how do you face the fear of the unknown? Step. Don't wait anymore. Don't think anymore. Don't plan anymore. Don't contemplate anymore. Don't make any more excuses or justifications. Don't rationalize anything else. No, no, and no. Instead, be aggressive. Take action now. And what is the first action that you need to take? What's the first step you need to take? The first step you need to take is just that. Step.
What are the things that you fear that's been keeping you from living your dream? That's been keeping you from doing some things that you would like to do? Just think about those things. And how do we begin to handle that? Abraham Maslow said that life is about growth. And he said, you can either go back to your comfort zone, and there you won't find any growth, or you must be willing to go forward and face your fears again and again and again. Because you're never going to have a fear-free existence. I mean, some fear is acceptable and legitimate. There are some things that you really should be afraid of. Now, you shouldn't allow it to immobilize you. You acknowledge it, you take it into account, and you carry yourself accordingly. There are times that we should proceed with caution, but it's the difference between being stopped by fear. It's the difference between having a fear and the fear having you. So what do? One, acknowledge it, and knowing that it's okay. Don't condemn yourself for being afraid. It's perfectly fine to have some fears. You acknowledge your fears, you embrace those fears, and then you move on. you act on whatever it is that you fear. Because once you embrace it, see, what you resist will persist. What you resist will persist. So one of the most important things is to begin to embrace your fear.
You know, some people think fear only attacks a small percentage of people, and they have pity on them. Oh, I feel sorry for Barbara. She deals with fear. I feel sorry for Steve because he deals with fear. The reality is this: fear attacks us all. We all deal with fear. Let me get that out the way right now. But successful people have learned how to use fear. See, fear could be your foe or fear can be your friend. Successful people have learned how to use fear to become their friend. You know what? Successful people are afraid to finish in second place. Successful people are afraid to fail. Successful people are afraid for the competition to catch them from behind. Successful people are afraid to lose creativity and innovation. I'm a motivational speaker, and guess what? I'm afraid of the competition. I fear and respect my competition, and that's why I can get up early, and that's why I can stay up late working, because I'm afraid. Have you used fear to your advantage to be your friend, your best friend, or have you used fear to paralyze you, to render you useless? The only difference between successful people and those who aren't successful as it relates to fear, they haven't learned how to use our friend called fear. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Walter Barnes has fear too. But my fear is not to be number one. So I wake up early and I go to bed late because I'm afraid. And I use fear as my friend.
So that's kind of, I guess, my theory here would be, if you're afraid of fighting and altercations, go train jiu-jitsu. If you're afraid of heights, work on some rock climbing. If you're afraid of the water, it's time to swim. It's time to surf. It's time to get out there. If you're afraid of pull-ups, if you're afraid of pull-ups, do pull-ups. If you're in squats, do squats. If you're afraid of public speaking, go speak in public. Mm-hmm. If you're afraid to start a business, start a business. Make it small. And on all these, what you have to do is you have to mitigate the risk and you have to ease yourself into it, but you got to go for it. And eventually you will overcome that fear. But the hard part is, you got to take that first step. Yeah. You got to take that first step to begin to inoculate yourself against the fear of the thing that's in your mind. Because that fear generally is in your mind. Yeah. That, you know, when you get up on stage to do a public speaking, people are not going to throw tomatoes at you and say, "Oh my, you're an idiot, get off the stage." No, right. They're going to sit there, you know? So there's nothing to fear. Yeah. It's in your head.
Give yourself the power, and the more you face your fears, the more powerful you become. The more times you challenge yourself, the more times you venture into the unknown, the more times you push through the fear, the stronger you become, and the more fear starts fearing you. You're a force to be reckoned with. How are you going to let fear control your life? You're stronger than that. Come on. You've got everything you need inside you to achieve anything. And you're going to let fear dictate what you do? You face your fears, you become the person you want to be. You run from your fears, you ain't living. You're alive, but you ain't living. You start facing this. You'll start asking yourselves questions. What was I scared of? What else can I do? What else am I capable of? What else can I overcome? And if you fail the first time, you get back up and you go again. You're unstoppable. If you don't do it the first time, at least you tried. And I tried is a lot better than what if. Because what if has nothing but regrets at the end of the day. And that is the only fear that you're allowed to fear, having regrets. It's hard. It's an uphill battle, but I know you can do it. I can do it. You can do it. So just do it.